Really? My, how long has it been? 3 years, isn't it? 3 years since you stopped coming around, stopped calling, stopped acknowledging the people who welcomed you into this family. Not even a single message at Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, nothing. I'd say I'm shocked, but honestly, you were always a bit cold. Anyway, let's not dwell on the past. It's time we put all that behind us. Given what's happened, I think we can agree it's time for you to come home. Tucker needs someone, and despite everything you've done to him, that still means you. I trust you'll be moving in without any fuss, so tell me, when are you coming? Wow, I really didn't expect to get a message from you. Is something wrong? I just told you, didn't I? Tucker needs you. That's all that needs to be said. You can't seriously think you're exempt from that just because you've been sulking in silence for a few years. I'm not sure that's really appropriate anymore. Things have changed a lot. Pfft, what changed? You're still his wife, aren't you? What does it matter if you've been keeping your distance? A real wife comes back when her husband is in need. I think you might be misunderstanding the situation. The way things are now, I'm really not the person for that role anymore. You're deflecting, that's all this is. You think just because you dropped off the radar, you're somehow off the hook? Oh, please. You made a commitment. You don't get to walk away from that just because it's inconvenient. I'm not walking away from anything. I did that already, years ago. Oh, stop being dramatic. What matters now is that you do the right thing. This isn't about feelings, it's about duty. Tucker can't be left alone like this. You have a responsibility whether you like it or not. If that's really what you believe, then maybe we're not having the same conversation. You know, the fact that you've gone this long without checking in is honestly shameful considering everything Tucker has been through lately. But I suppose you wouldn't know, would you? What are you talking about? What happened? He was in a car accident, a serious one. He's in a wheelchair now. He can't walk. He probably never will again. Wait, what? Are you serious? I'm completely serious. He was hospitalized for weeks. He had surgery, physical therapy, the whole ordeal, and now he's trying to adjust to a completely different life. Meanwhile, you've been who knows where, doing who knows what. Not even a text. Not even a single visit. Wow, this is the first I'm hearing of any of that. And why do you think that is? Because Tucker didn't want to trouble you, even now, after everything. He was trying to protect you. That's the kind of man he is, kind, loyal, and too considerate for his own good. Listen, Rachel, I'm sorry to hear this, really. But you're treating me like I deliberately ignored him. That's just not what happened. It's exactly what happened. You walked away and left him on his own, and now that you're being called to step up, you're full of excuses. You're acting like you have no connection to him at all. Because things haven't been the way you're describing for quite some time. I'm not trying to argue, but I think you're missing some important context. What context could possibly matter more than the fact that he's injured and needs someone? I really am sorry to hear about the accident. No one deserves to go through something like that. But I think there's something you need to understand, because the way you've been speaking to me is like you believe we're still in each other's lives. What's that supposed to mean? Tucker and I haven't been in contact for a very long time. We've been living completely separate lives for years now. Separate lives? Are you saying this whole time? Yes, 3 years ago I discovered that Tucker was cheating on me. This isn't something that happened recently. And once I found out, that was the end of it for me. I didn't want to stay in a marriage built on lies, so we got divorced. 3 years ago? Oh, that can't be right. Maybe not to you, but that doesn't change the timeline. After we split, Tucker remarried to the woman he'd been having his affair with. I'm not making this up. What? That's impossible. He never mentioned any of that to me. Not one word. I believe that. He probably didn't want to face the conversation. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. We divorced, he moved on, and so did I. That's the reality. So what, you expect me to believe you've just had nothing to do with him all this time? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. We haven't seen each other, haven't spoken, no phone calls, no messages, nothing. I didn't even know he'd been in an accident until your message. Well, that's unbelievable. I understand why it might feel that way. But I'm telling you the truth, and honestly, I think if you asked him directly, he'd say the same. I just think it's important you hear it plainly. Well, I'm sorry to say you wasted your time, because I don't believe a word of that. You're just trying to come up with a convenient little story so you don't have to take responsibility. This is so pathetic. There's nothing convenient about any of this. It's just the truth. Oh, please, isn't it funny how your so-called divorce just happens to line up with when you suddenly cut off all contact with us? 3 years ago, the timing's just too perfect, don't you think? It wasn't a coincidence. That was when everything ended. That's why I stopped coming around. No, you disappeared because you didn't want to deal with any of it. You got bored of playing house, and now you're lying through your teeth so you don't have to lift a finger. You think I don't see through that? If you really think I'm lying, then check with City Hall. They can pull the divorce record in 5 minutes. What, you want me to go waste my time on some ridiculous paperwork hunt just because a liar told me to? I'm not playing your little game. It's not a game, it's public record. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. You can say whatever you want, but you're still going to come here and do what needs to be done. Tucker can't work right now. Someone has to support this household, and that someone is going to be you. I don't think you understand the position you're in. You can't just assign me to take care of someone I haven't seen in years. Oh, I absolutely can. You're young, you're healthy, you had a job, which you'll be keeping, by the way. Tucker can't earn any more, so you'll be supporting him. That's your role now. Excuse me? And the house needs to be remodeled. Barrier-free, ramps, widened doorways, everything. It'll cost a fortune, but I assume you'll be covering it. After all, he's your husband. No, he's not, and I can't believe you actually think this is normal. Don't try to dodge this again. You're the one who made vows. You're the one who walked out. And now, when it really matters, you're the one who's going to make things right. This entire conversation has been completely detached from reality. If you want answers, if you want to understand what actually happened, then you should ask Tucker himself. He's been through enough already. I'm not going to drag him into more drama. You're already doing that by demanding things from someone who doesn't owe you anything. I've told you what happened. I've been honest. And I'm not going to keep defending myself against a version of the past that only exists in your head. You quit your job? Are you completely out of your mind, Shelley? Excuse me? How do you even know that? Oh, don't act surprised. I called your office to get your availability for Tucker's physical therapy. And what do I hear? You just up and left. Without warning? Without even telling anyone? That wasn't your place to ask about, and frankly, it's not your place to comment either. Oh, please, don't start playing the victim now. What on earth are you thinking? You're the one who should be supporting Tucker. He's in a wheelchair, for God's sake. He can't work. And I'm not responsible for that. I've told you before, and I'll say it again. Tucker and I are divorced. I don't owe him anything. You stood at an altar and made vows, for better or worse. Ring a bell? And now that he's facing worse, you've run off like a coward. No, I walked away after your son had an affair and moved on with another woman. You call that cowardice? I call it survival. Oh, give me a break. A little affair, and suddenly you think that justifies throwing away your marriage? People work through these things every day, but no, not you. You just disappeared the second it got difficult. It wasn't a little affair. He was seeing her for months behind my back, lying to me every step of the way. And when I found out, he didn't even apologize. He just packed up and left. That's ancient history, and you know it. You're using that as an excuse to abandon him now that he actually needs you. I don't need any excuse. I am telling you once again that I am not his wife anymore. I am not a caretaker, I'm not an employee, and I am not obligated to sacrifice my life for a man who betrayed me. So what, you quit your job just to sit around and sulk? That's pathetic. You think that's going to help anything? I didn't quit my job to sit around. I left because my new husband was transferred for work. I can't keep my job over here when we'll be living hours away. Oh, now you're saying you've remarried. Oh, how convenient. Don't make me laugh. It's not convenient. It's true. Our parents introduced us after my divorce was finalized. We've been married for over a year now. Lies, every word. You're just running away again because now that Tucker's disabled, you can't bear to look at him. That's not only insulting, it's absurd. I didn't run away from his disability. I walked away from his betrayal. And unlike him, I didn't pretend to be loyal while sneaking around with someone else. Don't you dare try to twist this into some moral high ground. You left him when he was able-bodied, and now you're washing your hands of him completely. That's because I already did. 3 years ago in court with witnesses and with his signature on the divorce papers. You think a piece of paper means you get to erase all of this? You think you get to start over while he's stuck with nothing? He's not stuck with nothing. He has a new wife, the one he chose over me. If he's suffering now, I genuinely hope she's there for him. But I am not part of that picture anymore, and you need to stop pretending I am. You know, now that I think about it, the more appalling this little attitude of yours is. Did you forget that the accident only happened because Tucker was trying to get away from you? He said you saw him with that woman and you lost your mind. Wait, what? Yes, that's what he said, that you caught him in the act and started making a scene. He said he panicked, tried to get away in the car, and that's when it happened. I never saw anything in person, not once. Oh, don't lie to me. He said you showed up out of nowhere, that you screamed at them and chased after his car. No, that never happened. I wasn't even there. When I found out about the affair, it wasn't because I walked in on anything. I hired a private investigator. It was all handled quietly. You hired someone? Yes, I still have the report if you want to see it. It lists the dates, photos, even the hotel name. It's all in there. I didn't yell, I didn't scream, I didn't confront anyone. I just left. Then what was he talking about? Well, that's a good question. He told me that's why the accident happened, that you caught him cheating and he got scared. Maybe that part is true, just not the way he told it. What do you mean? Well, if he wasn't talking about me catching him, then maybe someone else did. What are you saying? He married the woman he was cheating on me with, right? But if the accident happened more recently, long after we were out of each other's lives, maybe it wasn't me who caught him. Maybe it was someone else. No, he wouldn't. He's already got a second chance. He wouldn't be that stupid. Wouldn't he? But he looked me in the eye. He said it was all in the past. He said you were the reason he was miserable, that everything fell apart because of you. And you believed him. If he was lying about that, what else would he have been lying about? I think it's time you spoke to Tucker directly, because I've explained everything I can. But if you keep contacting me like this, demanding things I have no obligation to provide, I'll have no choice but to protect myself. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying it because I'm done being dragged into something I walked away from years ago. If this continues, I'll speak to a lawyer. Consider this your final warning. Let me know if you'd like a short follow-up from Rachel or a legal consequence scene to close the loop. I spoke to Tucker. He finally told me what really happened. I see. So he admitted it? Yes, the affair, the lies, all of it. He said he was ashamed. That's why he made it sound like you just walked away from your duties. That tracks. He never wanted to take responsibility when it counted. He also told me about the remarriage. I had no idea he married that woman. He said he thought I'd be angry, so he just kept it from everyone. I figured he wouldn't have the courage to explain that part. And the accident, it happened when he was with someone else. It wasn't even his wife. It turns out one of his mistresses caught him with another mistress. So he repeated the same mistake. That's awful. It is. I still can't believe it. But at least I finally know the truth now. And I suppose I owe you an apology for everything I said. I appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know. Actually, there's something else I wanted to say. A sort of proposal, if you will. A proposal? Now that things are finally out in the open, maybe this is a chance to turn over a new leaf. Tucker is single again, and you work from home now, don't you? You're in the perfect position to care for him properly. Wait, are you seriously suggesting... Why not? You two were married once before. It's not like the love just disappears. Besides, your current marriage was just out of obligation, correct? You said your parents introduced you. Those arrangements never run that deep. It's not like you fell in love. Are you listening to yourself right now? I'm being practical. You have flexibility now. You're always at home, and Tucker needs someone he can trust. The timing just makes sense. You think I should throw away my life, my family, everything I've built, so I can go back and play nursemaid to a man who lied, cheated, and left me to clean up the mess? It doesn't have to be so dramatic. You were happy once, and now that the distractions are out of the way, maybe you could find a way back to that. No, we were not happy, not in any way that mattered. And do you want to know what I actually remember most about that time? What? You. Me? Yes, the way you treated me. The way you hounded me nonstop with cruel comments and snide remarks. You didn't just nag me in person, you called, you emailed, you sent text messages at all hours. Remember when you faxed me that complaint about my cooking? Who even uses faxes anymore? Well, that wasn't abuse. I was just trying to help you become a proper wife. No, Rachel, it was abuse. You chipped away at me every single day, and you never once saw me as a person. You saw me as a tool, someone to manage your son, your house, your image. Well, that's not true. It is, and I never forgot it. You say start over like that part didn't happen, but it did. Well, maybe I was a little too hard on you, but it was never personal. It was personal to me. I lived through it. And I am not walking back into it just because Tucker burned every bridge and ended up alone. That's not my problem anymore. So you're saying there's no chance? None. I have zero intention of divorcing my husband. He's kind. He respects me. He's the reason I'm doing well now. But this conversation is over. A few weeks later, a letter arrived at my parents' house. You guessed it. It was from her. It was carefully worded, filled with phrases like, just keeping in touch and hoping you're well. But buried between the lines was the real message. Tucker had found out she contacted me behind his back, and he was livid. Their relationship apparently had collapsed. He's stuck in the family home, too broke to move out after paying alimony from his latest affair. He works from home now, but the place isn't even wheelchair accessible. The letter was just a thinly veiled plea for sympathy, for help, and maybe even for money. I handed it to my mother, shrugged, and said to toss it in the trash. And just like that, the last string tying me to that part of my life was finally gone.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.